As you approach the town, you see a sign outside the gate that says, "Do not pet the spiders." Before you have a chance to ponder this with the rest of your party, you see a halfling riding by on the back of a giant spider, and around the corner come two people walking their spiders at the end of a leash. You hear a gasp and turn around and see your goblin Sherpa pass out. Suddenly you're filled with memories of the time you rescued him from the Drider.
Welcome, Dungeon Hackers. Today we're going to do another video on what it might look like in an actual village in a D&D world. As we stated in another video, most villages in Dungeons & Dragons look a lot like medieval villages from right here in the Prime Material Plane. However, we don't have to deal with dragons and owlbears and harpies. See the harpy video right up there. So I think that society would change just a little bit in order to incorporate protection from these types of creatures. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at how society might change and adapt if there's a large colony of giant spiders nearby. First of all, as a plot point for why there might be a colony of large spiders nearby and nothing being done about it, it's possible that the actual nest of giant spiders is somewhere that the village can't get to because maybe there's something more dangerous between them and the spiders. However, the spiders can go around it with no real fear. Another possibility is that the spiders are a nuisance, but are a useful nuisance because they keep other predators out of the area. So what kind of countermeasures might a village use to protect themselves from things like giant spiders? Well, much like in today's world, we have pets, like dogs, for example, that help protect us from wild animals. So perhaps the village would have a lot of pets to protect them from the giant spiders, but maybe not dogs. What kinds of creatures might be useful to protect them from the spiders? Well, if we look at the giant spider stat block, we can see that a lot of the damage that they do comes from poison specifically. So maybe we find some creatures that are resistant or even immune to poison. Now, I was looking at the beasts that have some protection against poison because beasts are the kinds of animals that we could train with animal friendship and animal handling, and this would allow us to have some domesticated beasts of these types. And the one that jumped out to me was the badger. You can see here in the giant badger stat block that they are resistant to poison. So while they aren't immune to it, they are resistant to it. They have a pretty decent perception to know when they're coming, and dark vision to be able to see them coming in the darkness. If nothing else, the giant badger is a good warning system to let you know that they're coming, and a creature that maybe isn't in as much danger of dying if it does get attacked by the spiders as some other creatures might be. Now, of course, Dungeons & Dragons is a world of magic, so perhaps you've got some lower-level wizards that might be able to magically animate some objects. Not as per the animate object spell, as that is a fairly high-level spell, but maybe just more like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. All animated objects are constructs and, as such, are immune to poison. So you could have an animated broom, which even has a flyby attack, allowing you to attack the spiders and then get out of range as it flies around. But it can also help clean up the spider webs afterwards. A little bit stronger of a construct that you may consider using would be the animated armor. The animated armor is a challenge rating 1 with a high armor class. It also has blind sight, allowing it to see, even in complete and magical darkness, to know that the spiders are coming. So between badgers and perhaps some animated objects, you may have a lot of protection within your village to help stave off the giant spider swarms, with the added benefit of them being able to protect you from other things as well. And how might society adapt to living in these situations other than getting some protection from creatures? Well, you may find that a town like this is extra clean. You want to sweep away all the webs, which your animated brooms can help you with. in order to keep the spider's habitat out of the area. If every time they spin a web it's destroyed, they may just choose to go somewhere else. You also want to keep other pests out of the area. A lot of mice and rats is just inviting these giant spiders to inhabit the town in order to have a reliable food source. So as such, you'll want to probably have a lot of rat catchers and other people employed in order to clean up the pests and the webs within town. It's possible that while cleaning up all of the spider webs, a lot of it may be harvested as spider silk that can be used to make stronger ropes or even fine silk clothing. Perhaps this town is on a major caravan route and can fund itself entirely by selling the spider silk gathered from the spiders. Any local ne'er-do-wells may also market the poison that they could perhaps harvest from some of the spiders. So if you allow poison in your games, then the local rogue guild may have a lot for sale, perhaps even at a discount as supply is large. Maybe this would be a good town to go to get the needed ingredients to create an antidote for some other poison as part of a side quest for the party. Earlier I mentioned that the spiders could potentially be beneficial in keeping other creatures away. So maybe there's a symbiotic relationship between the town and the spiders. Much like our human past, where we befriended wolves and eventually domesticated them into our faithful companions. For example, our new puppy Ollie won't be protecting us from bears out in the wild. However, he is a fluffy little companion. In a similar fashion, the village may be able to quasi-domesticate the spiders. The spiders aren't super intelligent, but they're as smart as a lot of animals that humans have domesticated. So it's entirely possible that by feeding them and taking care of them and not hunting them, that they may eventually come to view the humans in the village as not really friendly, but not a threat either. This may be how come they have the uneasy alliance and the giant spiders keep other things from attacking the village, because they know that the village itself will give them all the food they need, making it easier for them to survive. And keep in mind, there are things like the animal friendship spell and speak with animals, both low-level spells that might allow casters within the village to be able to talk to the spiders, to share information with them. For example, hey, if you guys go take out that owl bear, we'll give you guys food for the next week. Maybe not even something that complicated, just don't eat us and we won't eat you. For that matter, the animal handling skill itself just has you handling beasts, and giant spiders are beasts. So what story points or plot points might happen within a village like this? How would you incorporate this into your campaign? Let me know down in the comments below how you would adjust a town like this to handle spiders. And remember, instead of hacking the spiders, you can hack the dungeon.